Good evening. This is the Heritage Commission meeting for March 18th, and we're calling the meeting to order. Want to do roll call?
Okay, roll call, Helen Hersey.
Here.
Kimberly Willis.
Here.
Chair Christine Arnold.
Here.
Co-chair Deirdre Murphy.
Here.
Very good.
Okay. Let's stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So approval, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? They were emailed, and me too. Anybody have any issues? Somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, the review of Chautauqua. So suggestions for next year. Number one, we're gonna start booking well beforehand. Other than that, well, I know I'll be working on the speakers way beforehand. But I'd say, now that we know what to expect, we can keep an eye out on what the Tales from the Heart of Keystone. I'd like to keep that in for every year.
That was awesome. That was really amazing.
That was everyone's favorite part.
I think so too. People loved it, and the Bennetts are here with us this evening, so they were a part of that. Thank you again for joining us.
So, Mr. Parham was nice. I mean, everyone loved his theatrical presentation.
Yeah, he's a good speaker.
He is. He's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and he really had a great subject, so yeah, it was good.
I suggest that we extend the hours just a little bit for next year so we can get in another speaker each day.
Right.
If we start well.
I think that we need to also leave at least 30 minutes in between speakers, because with the, with say, you know, the roundtable talk, it ran over a little bit, which was perfectly fine, and that was proof to show that it was really
Very engaging.
it was engaging. But then it meant that the next speaker was really pushed. So I think that if we leave a little more space in between the speakers, that it allows for, you know, everyone to move around and for us to move furniture around. You know, the chairs, we had to kind of change the positions of everything, and gives everyone a minute to have just a break.
Well, how about if we shoot for 10 to 6 next time and really work on getting a good band in for each one of the last 2 hours would be music.
Right.
So for next year, but 10, I think, because that'll give us time, providing the weather. Well, we won't have the pop-up museum in it, hopefully, next year. The museum will have its own spot. So 10
Museum will be in its own space.
So 10 to 6 next year, we're gonna shoot for and see how that works. Okay,
10 to 6 p.m.
yeah,
I think that's a little long.
too long?
Yeah.
Well, the
It's a
last 2
long
hours,
day.
that means that the band starts at 4
Mm-hmm.
and ends at 6.
Okay, well, we can nail down the details a year from now.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think that
Can I make a
6
little
o'clock
suggestion?
is too late.
I totally understand that, because you are thinking, I have to be there from 10 to 6, 2 days in a row.
right.
What I'm doing for the events that I'm planning for the city, and hopefully I can pull some more people from here, is have volunteer meetings throughout the year. building awareness of the events, but also pulling in more people, I think that you guys it could be very beneficial to you to constantly and continually try to build your volunteer base. You're only doing a couple events a year as of now, and building that volunteer base, once you have the museum, that helps with having people to be able to volunteer with that too. But if you had double the amount of people you have here on the council, you could delegate those out to people, and they could have hour shifts where they're either in the pavilion or they're outside coordinating stuff. You could be there at the beginning and in the middle and the end, a couple of you, all of you, but you would not have the major burden on just you guys. You see what I'm saying? And
You still need to be there.
you would still need to be there, but
I
it
mean,
wouldn't have to be all 5 of you there all the time. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could run shifts
We
throughout the
could-
day, so you could break
leave
that
for a
into 2
couple
bits.
hours,
Yeah,
get lunch, come back.
Like,
We
you could
couldn't
do-
do it this time because we had all those artifacts right there.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was a lot of interaction. that was
Exactly,
going
and you
on
could
with
do
the
10 to
crowd.
1, and then 1 to 6, and then that way, and then your volunteers are running the things, but someone is there helping the volunteers to know where they need to be, or if someone doesn't show up. And I think that'll be key for you guys. You could potentially, if you have a year to plan it, you have potential to be able to do it that long, but you're not doing it all yourself. I'm trying to learn this too, so I'm talking to my people. If you have more volunteers, then you can delegate those volunteers, and it's not the burden.
So
on
your
just one.
volunteer meeting that you're hosting at the pavilion, is that like a week from now?
It's Monday.
Monday, okay.
So that's
So that is open to the public for anyone that wants to be
volunteer for my
on
events.
anything anything to do with the city. So it's not just
I will
Heritage
have a
Commission.
sign-up sheet per your permission for the 4th grade field trip, particularly. If you want me to, I can have one for the Chautauqua, and then I can just pass that on to you, that information
So
on to
is
you
this
guys.
volunteer group that you're putting together, is that only for the Heritage Commission or is
No,
it
no, no.
for everything
No, no,
in
no.
Keystone?
It is for my events that I'm facilitating. I'm asking if you would like me to, I can put the 4th grade field trip, having volunteers for that.
That'd be great.
And then also have volunteers for next year's Chautauqua. Knowing that, whenever they sign up for that, I'll pass that on to you guys and whoever wants to coordinate volunteers.
And tour of homes, because
I can
next
do
year
that
we're
too.
gonna have the tour of homes.
So, and I could just have a sign-up sheet, and what I would collect is their name, their email, and their phone number.
So it's the 2026.
And then it would be up to you guys that if you wanted to do workshops going forward, those people, you would call them and say, the workshop is here, and then you could delegate out who's carrying what out. Just very, very similar to Friends of Keystone.
What
You know
time
what
is
I'm
the
saying?
meeting?
My meeting is at 6 o'clock on Monday. And so if anybody wanted to be there to talk to people, it's gonna be at the pavilion. I have a quick slide presentation that I'm gonna go through, and when they,
How many people do you expect?
I don't have any idea. I hope more than one.
Is it on Facebook?
It is on Facebook, it will be on the website, but they're out of town this month, or this week for spring break, with their families, which they well deserved. So I don't know if it'll be up on Facebook by the time the event actually happens, but it is on the marquee, and it is on the website. And then I'm gonna distribute it to, all of the local organizations, and if they have time to email it or put it on the page and share it, so that anybody in their organization, if they wanna do a particular event with us, they can. So, but I'll get those 3 events on there, and I'll make up a sheet and I'll forward it to you guys. You guys give me the approval, and I'll just make a copy and have it there. And if you guys can man that station and answer any questions for Friends of Keystone, that's perfectly fine. All right. Okay.
You meant the Heritage Commission.
What did I say? Friends of Keystone. Ah, I'm sorry.
You get a twofer
That's
right
okay.
there.
I know, that's part of it.
Actually,
It was also.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, this sounds good.
Okay, so the artifacts inventory, this part is important because we have to discuss climate control storage. And we need to vote to approve on climate control storage this time, because night and day, we're keeping all of our big stuff, of the pictures that have to be climate controlled. And we have more things that need to go in there, and it would just be in the interim until we get a museum to put them in, which there's efforts being made towards that right now.
Can we talk a little bit about, I know we kind of jumped say that, I think it was very well received. And people came in, and they absolutely were astonished that we had as much artifacts and history preserved about Keystone. And they were really glad to see it. And I saw so many people looking at, oh, this is my high school photo, or this is where I jumped off off of the pavilion and jumped into the lake, or this was, you know, I was in this fire group, or, you know, with the fire department. And people really reminisced when they went into what we were calling the Pop-Up Museum. And I think that it really brought back a lot of, you know, just connection with the community.
I felt like the younger people even
Yeah.
were really interested in finding out who is this and how do they interact, or
Right.
tell me a little bit more about this.
Some of the buildings that used to be here that are no longer here.
That was really impressive too.
Right. Yeah. And I think it just really stirred up a lot of conversation. And that kind of goes hand in glove with what Helen was doing with the roundtable group. I mean, I think everything just worked seamlessly together, between just having all the stuff in that space, and then all the speakers, and then our roundtable, and the music. I just think it all really kind of gelled, and I just wanted to.
Okay. So, is there anything that we need to do different? Because
I'm hoping that we don't have to have a pop-up museum next year. That's the goal.
We're all hoping, but if, it kind of went, it was pretty easy. You supervised the whole thing, getting everything down there, so.
I had
In the
help.
event that we don't have someplace for it, we can still do it again next year.
Not really.
Not really?
I would just say we need to have a museum.
Okay, well, if you're ready to.
I'm ready to commit,
Okay.
like full
pop-
force.
No pop-up
on getting
museum
a
next
museum.
year. Okay. Well, I don't doubt you. Okay, so the artifacts, we're going to have to, I'll call around and get, we have some of is there just,
I just found one off the top of my head there, the two on 100,
yeah,
there's one close in between like the AutoZone and the Keystone Heights Animal Hospital. That one is not climate controlled, the one going closer towards the RV park,
okay.
that one is climate controlled. I did not go outside to Melrose, I did not go to any other area.
Did they have space available at the one?
They did at the time I talked to them.
Okay.
And they had multiple sized facilities, and I think I gave that to you guys last time, I don't have it with me right now. That was the last meeting. And I think that John Silva said that he could look into that possibly for you guys. And he's not here, you can always volunteer him that it's his job. But, the prices and all of that, I don't remember off the top of my head.
They weren't extravagant for
it
something
wasn't.
as small as what we need.
And it depends, and like right now, everything, including the stuff that you had artifact-wise, except for what's being stored at the mayor's house, is behind you in those cabinets,
Right.
even the totes. So, it would just be a matter of, you know, kind of, if you put them all in boxes
Mhm.
and they're labeled, that's not gonna take a lot of space. What takes space are the pictures,
Right.
those artifacts that she's storing.
And they've allowed us to keep them over there for 30 days. And so I said, we've got to vote on something so however somebody wants to formulate a motion, however we need to do a motion, because it's going to cost money if we don't have the exact figures right now, but can we?
I move that we obtain the smallest amount necessary in an air-conditioned environment and rent it for under $200 a month.
Mhm.
That should well be in the range. And that we use it to store everything that needs to be in air conditioning, so that we can move, all the items into that air-conditioned unit.
I'll second.
Can I get a vote?
Is everybody in favor?
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I will obtain that immediately, tomorrow. Call and get a number, and then we'll proceed from there, but try to get our stuff out from London Days as quickly as possible. Okay.
There's some unfinished storage in 21, I don't know if they have climate control, and then there's another one back there behind, the beauty shop on Commercial Circle across from the post office.
Right.
That one was not, the last I checked, because I had stored some things over there, it wasn't climate controlled.
I don't know whether that.
And and my things just really mildewed. They were in there, I mean, everything just had to be.
And I know that they added more space to the one in Melrose. I don't know if they added climate control or if they just have the basic units, but you could look at that too.
Well, I'll call.
I just
them.
wanted to be close enough so that you guys could drive to and back and forth whenever you need
Yeah.
to.
I'll try this one on the way to the RV park first. Do that tomorrow.
Just for a short time until we have a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the artifacts. John's not here for the shadow box. I know he's working on that. And so elementary school field trip planning.
Well, I'd like to talk about McCray.
Right.
I worked with, Mr. Isaac Morford to, get a hold of the teachers out there that would be receptive to doing this and that would be working with the fourth grade. And I sent them an email, and he copied me on his emails, and then I copied him on emails. We have not heard back from any of the teachers. I did reach out to them, again this week, but then I realized they're on spring break. So I got the out of office email back, so we really don't know at this point. But they've been all notified, and Isaac gave them a very good overview of what we are, what we're doing. And that this would be, is it our third year?
Yes.
Yeah, our third year doing this, so we have that pretty much down. But we wanted to include the McCray Elementary School in addition to the Keystone Heights Elementary School. They've never been included in the field trip. The biggest situation for them is that they need transportation to here, whereas the elementary students in Keystone, they just walk over with their teachers.
There's a lot more logistics involved
Right.
in that, a lot more cost. Do you want me to order just for the numbers for Keystone Elementary fourth grade?
Can you wait till next Monday?
I can, if you can give me a list of the things you want to do again, and I can research to see how long those things are gonna take to come in.
Okay.
And I'll reach out to the mayor as well for her presentation of what she wants to do. I have the inventory of what I have, and we could, if it's gonna take more than, a month for those
Yeah.
things to come in, cause we're talking the 24th, and we're literally a month out. So if it's gonna take more than a month for any of those items to come in, I probably should go ahead and order, and I'll just email you guys, and you guys can give me the thumbs up or thumbs down. As long as you agree that we just, you're putting me in a place where I can order up to a certain amount. I don't know if you need to vote on that, or
I
if you
just
could just give
think
me the word.
Well, I think, do we need to vote? Because we've already budgeted for it.
Right, you did.
So we don't
And I don't
really-
think, as long as we're ordering the same things we were before,
There are a couple things that
we're not, are we doing the arrowheads? And we
Yeah,
have the pencils.
Arrowheads, pencils, the keys were part of the scrolls for the
Right.
mayor,
Right.
for the proclamation.
we had something for the moon tree. It was a rocket.
We didn't have that last year, I don't think.
No.
If you did, it was not purchased by me, and I don't have it in the box.
No, there was something that had involved space.
Carrie had bought something and donated it.
it might be that might be what it is. So we can look into whatever you want me to do. If you'll forward it to me, as long as you're all in agreement, and then I will purchase, I'll let you know what the timeline is, but I think we wanted to order last time, but we just didn't have the numbers, we still don't. We can order for just Keystone and order more later, or I can order extra, knowing that we're doing this again next year, and whatever we have residual, I can call McCray and say, how many do you have, and kind of just guesstimate how many we might have.
We could call, well, if we can wait till Monday, we can call there and just ask how many fourth graders they have.
Right, and
That gives us our number right there.
Right,
You don't
and the
have-
worst
you know.
case scenario
Right.
is, we'll have double the amount we need this
Right.
year, and we can use it next year. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I will email all of you whenever I have how much it is, and
Okay.
then, just so you know, and then I'll place the order and go, when else go, okay?
Sounds
Sounds like I'll go and look in the bag.
Yeah,
Right,
we
we
do
have
a
a
little goodie bag up for all the fourth graders, so.
It's a little
They take
souvenir from each station. We're gonna have the book, the little Andy Looping Crane book.
Oh, that's the big,
That's huge.
that's the big
Well,
piece.
I was hoping to get an update from Darlene on, exactly where she was with that. And so how much time do I need? How much how long does it take to have one of those booklets printed?
Oh, from Copy Cabana?
Yeah,
How many pages is it?
17.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how many
plus
are
front and
gonna
back
order?
cover.
I give them 3 or 4 days at least.
Well, I was thinking weeks.
No, they won't need weeks, but they definitely would
Okay.
need, because we ordered like 100, I think, for the tour of homes. And that was a lot more than, well, no, it was about 10 pages, 15 pages.
Yeah.
So it was very similar. And they had them done like that.
Okay.
So they can print them off. It's just as long, you just have to catch them if they have another big job, then that
Well, I'll
needs
talk to
be-
them. Darlene's had lots of time to get this done, and so I'm hoping she's, going to have them done weeks before. That's my goal.
Is that your water, Helen, or do you need one? No. Okay.
So anyway, but the number that we need to print is going, well, I guess if we do double, we can use them next year.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
same
same
thing, same thing, okay, good, that's.
Now, are you gonna tell the story?
No,
Why not?
I was looking for somebody who was a little more animated.
You can be, it's your story.
I'm not an animated person.
Well, I mean,
Hey, I may regret this later, but I love you, and I love your story.
it's
If
adorable.
you need a teacher to read your story, I will animate it for you and read it for you.
Oh, yeah?
As long as you guys run you help me run everything else, and everything runs smooth, I will always be here to help coordinate things, but I can read that for you.
Okay,
As
Well,
long as I can read it underneath
what
the
I
oak
want
tree.
you to do is a presentation on Chicago for the children.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing, because
Oh,
these are
okay.
fourth graders, you have to keep in mind that we're talking about 9-year-olds. Their attention span is very short, and so you have to engage them. So I'm thinking having a story,
Right.
where they get the booklet, and
So-
letting them know that they're all going home with the book.
How many zones are you
Is,
planning on
you know.
having? You have the pavilion?
The pavilion we have,
Just the introduction.
we're gonna do, right, and then Andy the Whooping Crane and Chautauqua is
All-
down at the pavilion.
All at the pavilion.
At the pavilion. And
Alright.
then they come here,
To City Hall.
So
right,
that's all together as the group.
right. And
Well,
then,
they're all split
well-
up at that point. They're 20 and, they're
The
in sets of
introduction,
20.
I think we
introduction, and then
we did 5
the
groups
Chautauqua
last
and
time.
Whooping Crane is will stay, and that'll be one.
That's number 1.
And then there'll be a group here.
Right, but what we did last year was, we had 5 groups, and we started them all at the 5 stations.
Okay,
And then they just rotated.
okay.
So,
And we're keeping the 5-station plan and
Right.
rotation and all that. Okay.
we are, there'll be a little variation.
Right.
But, Gavin Gottschall, who did the Chautauqua, he did a slideshow at Chautauqua last year. He can't get the time off work, he's with the sheriff's department, he can't get the time off of work this time.
Tim, don't worry, I'll help you.
We'll all help her.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can
I have
come up
no
with a
problem.
quick presentation and.
Yeah, I have no
Mark,
problem
you can
talking.
I
I
know.
just have a
No,
problem
yeah.
putting it together.
Everything, and just like I told Gavin last year, everything is on the Facebook page. I have an entire section on Chautauqua, it has it has all the facts, has all the people, and has all the photos. And he just took what was right there on the Facebook page and just took the slideshow and everything right off of there.
Now, keep in mind, Kim, just for the record, when they go over to the old Keystone Inn, which is the spot that I'm at, we have an entire historic marker over there. I would never read that to 9-year-olds, okay? They don't want to have anything to do with that. I point it out to the parents and the teachers, just so they know that it's there. However, I have them engaged with making crayons and paper with the stamp of the inn, and they all stamp, and then they crayon the stamp so that it pops. That's about the extent, and I tell them a little bit about the inn, that it's not there anymore because we didn't have preservation back then, and a little bit about that. And then I ask them things like, you know, do you know the name of this road? None of them know the name of the road. They don't. And then I tell them it's Lawrence Boulevard and why. So that's the kind of dialogue you're basically having with a 9-year-old.
I'm gonna need a little help here. I'm used to teaching adults.
You're fine, I got you.
Yeah, I'm used to teaching adults.
I can break it down.
We have the Moon Tree again, and Bob Burns is going to
great.
help. Janice has spoken to him, so he's gonna help.
Great. And then we have Fort 11, which is the big deal, because when they move from the old historic inn over a little further in the nature park to the Fort 11, John is like a master storyteller, and he is completely in regalia of wool suit and army gear, and he tells them stories
She's
about
talking about John Caesar, not John Solo.
Okay. Oh, okay.
and he tells them all these stories that are basically very gory, and they love it. And then they do a cannon, and it's a real firing of a cannon, and they love
He
that.
fires the cannon at the end, and that's the signal to all the groups to rotate.
Okay.
And you can hear it everywhere.
Now,
So
but
how long is each station? Wow.
we were trying to do 15
20
minutes.
Yeah.
This year, I wanted 15.
It'll go fast for the two of us.
Yeah.
Well, if we have an extra 50 to 75 children from McRae,
Just
We're
getting them
having-
in and out is taking longer.
it's gonna just, the mobility of it, the logistics,
Yeah.
will be a little longer.
I'm gonna ask John Silva to work over there with John Caesar,
Yes.
and do the Indian
Oh,
portion.
that would be great.
Yeah,
And if we get
The-
additional volunteers,
Timaquid Indian. I can never pronounce it. Timaquid Indians.
if we get additional volunteers, we would need them for crossing the road.
Right.
That's a real big piece,
Right,
especially
and
with
I
that many
really
kids.
truly would like to suggest that they only cross at the crossing area
Oh, sure.
instead of crossing in the middle. I think it's just not safe. And
I don't think
of
we
course,
have them
we'll
crossing
have
in the
people helping with vests and crossing from the pavilion.
And we had the volunteer deputy that was there too, our volunteer, public service.
You probably need to determine who's
No,
going to
didn't.
contact them
But-
and
Okay.
set them up. Carrie did that last
Pretty
time.
easy, 'cause you don't have to do
So
that.
they would,
You can do that? Thank you.
and so once we have that, then we're safe.
Yeah,
And then I don't know if the public safety officer, if we had just one here, or if the public safety officer helped them cross. And then,
I think he was helping them cross.
and then he helped them cross
Yeah.
here. I don't know if he went down to the elementary school and helped them cross there,
Oh.
and then came here.
He helped them cross at the corner of Jasmine
We've been here 30
Okay.
minutes.
and across there.
Across,
That's where they
across
crossed.
21,
Right.
and then I think he came back here, and then he just monitored traffic.
Right.
On the wall.
And I think last year Carrie did spray paint the road and was trying to get them to cross right here. I think it would be much safer, and I think
No,
to be down there.
They're already up at the Moon Tree.
Right, they're at the
So
Moon
it
Tree.
makes sense to go across
Right,
right there.
Though I think what the thought was is they would cross back
Oh, yeah, coming from Fort 11 over here.
back this
right.
way, but I mean, if you have
No,
the safety
they
officer, you
should
can do
go
that, but
back.
coming around the curve, I think it's easy enough that you could have one group coming in and then the other group coming out around. There would be, a little bit of space for them to pass by each other without going in the road. And the teachers are amazing, we've been well trained to be able to handle herding cats.
Children.
It's like herding
It
cats.
is.
Because they're excited.
Okay, so, see, we do have it all basically, Look at you. It's basically in hand, I mean, it's always a hot mess, you're dealing with a couple hundred children for Pete's sakes.
But they have so much fun and they
They
love
do,
it,
yeah.
and they tell all their friends, and like Nina will tell you, the kids come up to her and just, if they see her anywhere at the grocery store, and they just, they remember coming out to this event. So,
And I applaud you guys for inviting Craig. I know when I came, I was like, 'cause I had just come fresh off of subbing at both schools, and I was like, why are they missing out on this? Because they merge at one middle school, high school, and our one junior, senior high school, and you did your best. And if it doesn't work out, I applaud you guys for reaching out to them. Hopefully, if they don't do it this year, they'll do it next year, because they're missing out on quite a gift.
Well, I think it lets us off the hook a little bit, double ordering, and then just,
Right.
we'll have it for next year.
right, and it really, just depends on the teachers and if they,
And a lot of it also is logistics too. We haven't gotten a yes yet this year. We probably should work faster next year because it's a budgeting, it's a, funding.
we did
I
work.
know, I know. But
We
maybe
worked
like,
for months on this.
we don't nail it down this time, just like get to them now and say, hey, for next year,
Right.
put this in your cycle.
Now, we are gonna have to have a workshop to put the goodie bags together, just like we did last year. So.
Yeah,
everybody
just
wants-
so Kim knows, we kind of stencil the front of the bag with the Keystone Heights kind of like emblem, or, we can maybe just even do a Keystone Heights sticker foil and, something like that, put one on.
I don't know, we had the stickers from last year and I think we used those with wood coins. So, putting the stickers on the wood coins.
But we're not gonna be doing the coins this
You're
year.
not gonna do the
No,
ones.
I don't
So
know.
if
If
you
we
wanted
could
to-
just have a
if
little
you
bag
wanted to
with the
order the
handles.
stickers again, it would just be pretty much a reorder, I think, and not as hard as doing like a full design of a gold foil sticker and trying to get that to us in a short period of time.
Yeah, it would just be a lot
But I just
easier.
don't have time to design
then
something. If you
stencil.
guys do, if you guys wanna do a gold foil one, that's fine, I just don't have the time this year, I'm so sorry. I've got 3 events, or 2 really major events besides the fourth grade field.
Well, if it just had the Keystone Heights emblem,
I understand, it was a booger to do the stickers that I did last year. I
Oh.
mean, I did it,
did you do them,
Oh,
or
wait a minute.
did you
We have
hire
that
somebody
stamp.
that can?
I ordered
We
them.
have the stamp. Remember they carried up in my mailbox?
Oh,
That-
that's right,
the
I have
Heritage-
the stamp now.
It's the Heritage Commission
I have
stamp.
this, oh, never mind.
Yeah,
have
we
a stamp.
have a stamp.
Excellent.
Can we, let's,
know where we
let's
got that.
see if we can schedule the workshop for that. It takes, about an hour and a half. Our next, right before our next meeting is the 15th. We have a Heritage Commission meeting before the field trip.
Right,
So
so
on
keep in mind,
Tuesday-
if I order all the stuff immediately and just do the double order or whatever, then you'd have to have time for all the stuff to come in before you have a meeting, so,
Well, this,
or the workshop.
it's over a month away.
Right.
The next meeting is the 15th of next month, and then the field trip is on the 24th.
Could we do a workshop like an hour before this meeting, like at 5 o'clock?
Yeah,
We
that's-
just meet
that-
here and do it.
That's what I'm saying. I think we could use this and just put them together. So let's have the workshop at 5 p.m. on the 15th.
So are you wanting to have this room set up with tables out?
I think we could just line them up here. Can we just use this?
You can't.
Between there and this,
Yeah.
we
We
can do
could do stations right here, just,
Oh, between this and that,
Yeah.
or just have tables set up over
yeah, we
here?
could just, we
it.
could
Just
just
use these,
use these surfaces
so
here.
there's no extra work.
Okay, so no setup, no change up.
Right.
Love the way you ladies think. Perfect.
Followed by the meeting.
So 5 PM, right, followed by the meeting, so 5 PM on April 15th. And so the whole thing is 15 minutes of a presentation on Chautauqua, just a few minutes. Cause it's gonna take her not long to read the story, so you
So
guys
just
look at how,
explaining what Chicago is
Right.
about, what it means and stuff.
how to pronounce it, you know, and kind of, and just very, very brief.
Christine, I have the dates for the September Saturdays, would I go now? or
Yeah.
no? It's the 6th, the 13th, and the 27th.
Okay, September, okay, we're gonna look at, I wanna get this, because, and I generally, except for we're not gonna be doing food this year.
September.
September, what,
6th, 13th, or 27th. Those are the
okay,
ones.
this is for the Ford County Historical Roundtable meeting. I like to get the invitations out well beforehand.
September what day?
It's the 6th, the 13th, or the 27th, we need to vote on the date. It has to be on a Saturday at 11, right around. noon.
Beginning of the month would be better than.
Okay, September 6th,
I might not be here.
About the 13th.
The 13th would be better for me.
That's
I
fine.
May not. be
That works
here.
for me.
how's the 13th for you guys? Okay, let's do the 13th, and just book it from 10 to 2, and that gives us setup and takedown. Okay. 13th of September, good, that nails that down. Yeah. Okay. And that's just you sitting around table and other people come from other heritage commissions and things like that in the Ford County area. And everybody just talks about what they've been doing, you know, and the questions of, we have a museum, how did you get your museum, and that kind of stuff.
It's very.
Is it a lunch?
We
involved,
have in the
or-
past served lunch, but food has gotten to be,
Can't have it anymore.
right.
I mean, you can have food, but you have to fundraise, or you have to either have
We don't
Friends of
have time.
Keystone, Friends of Keystone fundraise,
Yeah.
or you can have, a donation. You can get people to donate the funds to be able to buy the food.
Well, this is, I think we're just gonna simplify it, these people are nerds, but we're all hardcore volunteer history people and all of our different things, and we're all coming together for the connections. Rather than it's, you know, it's nice to have.
But you're going over lunch and it's 4 hours, so even if it's not food
Well, no,
meal.
that's set up and take down, that's the reason why
Okay,
it's for, it's
okay.
just to give us plenty of time to, you know, to get everything set up for it.
I was just thinking
What if
coffee and.
we asked the Friends Keystone to give the Heritage Commission money to have this event?
Like
So you can
refreshments,
also
like
ask just
donations for
refreshments.
organizations too, or businesses, you could have Firepower donate coffee, you can have Dunkin' Donuts donate coffee, you can have, other organizations donate money that maybe would be willing to donate to the City of Keystone Heights Heritage Commission, donate money to be able to go buy some kind of food, or to pay for someone to come cater. You could have, you could do all those things.
It was, last year, we had catering from Publix, it was $250.
How many people are we talking?
I think we planned for, 15 last time.
You have individual donations.
No, you're not talking about,
The thing is,
Drew, I totally
we
understand. I
volunteer a lot, we don't have time to be fundraising.
Right, but that's why I wanna build your volunteer base, because I have the same problem. For the Florida League of Cities dinner, we cannot do any of that food, I have to fundraise, I have to go out and get sponsors for that. There are a certain amount of money that comes in from the Florida League of Cities. For anything that we do that has food, I have to do the same thing. I understand the struggles, but it's the law, we're not,
Right.
as a city entity, we're not allowed to spend taxpayer dollars on food. But there are ways that you can do this that are fairly easy by just going to certain people. And we do have a list of people that we have asked for donations, and we can give you a list of those names. But there's also different historical organizations out there that might be totally willing to have a tax write-off of a couple $100 for you guys to have snacks. And it's just a phone call away. And then once they write you the check, and then you just pay the food.
Well, we've got plenty of time to work on that aspect of that event, getting it nailed
I'm
down.
just, it's options. I
Yeah.
know that y'all are busy. I get it. I'm busy too. That's why I'm trying to build the volunteer base, because just like with Friends of Keystone, one person can make 2 phone calls where you guys don't have time for it. And then.
But we are the Friends of Keystone.
I'm saying that's okay. Just like the Friends of Keystone, you have volunteers that come in, and you could say, as an associate member or as someone that's just willing to volunteer, can you please call on the behalf of us to this organization, or to Firepower Coffee and say, can you give us 2 boxes of coffee and some cups, and then go to, Dunkin' Donuts or the bakery and say, would you be willing to donate something there? And, pick local organizations that might be willing to give you a little bit of food, or a business like the insurance company or this, that, and the other, and say, can you give us a couple, some money to be able to cover snacks? Even if it's just candy and coffee or cookies and coffee, it's something.
Yeah.
And it's not as hard as you think, but it is time consuming, and you do need more volunteers.
Well, and everyone drives, I mean, everyone has quite a distance to get here, because we do the 4 counties. And the food was kind of always the lure to help.
So the meeting itself then is more like 11 to 1?
Yeah.
We've had food in the past. It's just that now we can't. Before, they didn't realize that we couldn't. So it now no longer can come out of our budget.
Well, we can try to, we've got time.
Yeah, we
Yes.
So we
Right.
can reach out like Drew said, and we can.
Snackage is nice, especially for people who have driven a long way. They come
Absolutely.
from Orange Park, hopefully.
Well, even just water, coffee. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
You need something if people are coming to a meeting.
Yeah.
I think that if we're hosting, you can't be the host and not provide anything.
Well, no, and there's, like I said, there is ways. It seems like it's difficult, but it's tedious to a certain extent. If you start fundraising now and just getting a pile of money, you know how much you need. You're really not looking for the amount of money that some of my events are. It'll go fast, and it could literally be 4 or 5 people, or 4 or 5 businesses that give it a little bit.
Okay, so I feel good we got the date down. So the date is down, all right. Okay, we've already done the climate control, we've already voted on that. And, anything else that's coming up? Okay, for Kim, for you. After we finish with we start going into a nice little slow period that allows us to work on other things. But we have in July is the pie contest, the pie baking contest on the 4th of July. We have a table out here, and
I remember that from last.
it ran really, really well last year
It was fun.
with all the scoring
So
sheets
fun.
and all of that.
And so we have all the scoring sheets, we have all the information now, we have the banner.
But
we
I
have
suggest we
everything.
have an age category, because we had
A
younger people.
7-year-old won last year.
Well, we had a 7 and a 9-year-old compete, so we need to
You could
have a
have an
junior.
age category overall too, because why not be a 9-year-old and kick everybody's butt on the pies?
It was
Well,
great.
I think we need to separate it, because, well, for one thing, because the other young kids there, now her pie was great.
But we had a lot of adults too, so
Right.
maybe just children and
Yeah,
adults.
we'll do 2 categories this year, children and adults. But who do we want? to judge it, would you say we get, either our fire department or maybe some police department or something like that?
I think that would be
Get a
fun.
group,
Yeah, I think that would be
get
fun.
the guys from the police department.
Just so that you,
Charlie's always available to eat pies. He wanted me to say
but
that.
it's a lot of pie.
It
It
is
is
a
a
pie.
lot of pie.
Yeah, in fact, John says, I'm not judging this pie contest anymore, I can't eat any more
It's
pie.
all the hot dogs.
He likes the hot dog.
So at 4th of July, just so you know, at 4th of July, the Heritage Commission has like an old time pie contest.
Pie baking contest.
Pie baking contest, and people bring their pies, and then we judge them. And one of the parts of judging, of course, is eating. It's great.
We might want, we're gonna have to address the gift, or the prizes.
Yes,
We're
we
gonna
did
have to-
have a prize.
We have more meetings to go, but we might
Oh,
wanna
that's
put some thought into
The prize last year I thought was very cute.
It was, and so if we have two different categories, if we have
Right.
the junior, we'll need a prize for the junior. And then we're gonna have to, we'll end up voting on
Yeah.
that later on. We can, just for a future meeting.
Okay.
And then, let's see, that's July, and then September will be the round table. October is Boo on the Boulevard, where we have the photo booth over here at my house, and that runs like clockwork although we're gonna give out candy, we're going to have to fundraise for the candy.
This is
Yeah.
apparently.
So we are gonna have to fundraise for the candy.
Have somebody fundraise.
Hmm?
Have somebody
Have somebody fundraise.
Right.
fundraise.
A volunteer.
A volunteer.
Right.
Okay, so, but that's, anyway, this is just a broad overview. And then next, December should be a lot easier than this past December.
You don't have the tour.
No,
We won't have.
we won't have it.
26.
What do we have in December?
But Melrose is having their
Right.
trail homes
Okay.
in 2025.
Okay, so I think we've covered,
I have a couple.
okay.
So the plaque came in for Miss Sue Plaster. She's a little under the weather, so we'll get this to her when she's available. So
So
she
who did
could
you
not
end
make
up-
it tonight.
Who did you end up getting to do this one?
It was someone through Harold Gilstrap's one of his companies, so he basically ordered it. And it was, I believe they're sending the invoice to you, Drew. And it came in, I think, at $95, so right in at our $100 mark. And so it just says 85 Forest Street, 1942, and here's the So, yeah, there's no holes drilled on this because it would really depend on where they're putting it as to whether they would need a hole or if they just wanted to put a hook on the back, so we've left the holes out. In the past, we drilled them and then they weren't maybe necessary, so that's that. So I will get that to her. Can I leave this
You
here?
can.
Okay,
If it's convenient for her to pick it up, we can definitely do that.
okay, and I have a couple other things. Can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the corner of Selvin, yeah, I think it's Selvin Way and State Road 21 is the Hatch Realty. And they are opening an ice cream parlor in what used to be their hair salon that's next door attached to that building.
Pangborn's
And
ice cream.
it's gonna be Pangborn's Ice Cream. And that's the Pangborn house. And when I was talking to Keith Hatch, yesterday morning, he had said that he would like to have some photos to hang in the ice cream shop. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's perfect. So if we could email him some old Pangborn of that particular property, if you could find some old photos of that
I have
from,
one in particular that I think of.
that he can then blow it up, but we can email it to him, then he can blow it up and they would like to put something like that in there.
I
So
have,
as many of we can, and he said, and other old photos, so I was gonna direct him to our Facebook page, but before I did that, I didn't want him just searching. There might be just a few classic things that we want to just pick out and say, look through these 10, they might be a good fit, rather than thousands of photos that he would be on a hunt.
do you find the website intimidating?
It's just a
She's
lot.
admiring your work, Christine. She's
Well,
admiring
no,
your
it's
work.
a lot for the average person if they're just trying to get a few pictures for their business. It would be better to pick out what might be relevant for them and just say, here are 10, this might be a good option. You know, that's all I was thinking.
Okay.
Um,
10 photos for Pangborn.
Yeah, and then, let's see what else. Also, Eddie Arnold's house, on the corner of Jasmine and Lakeview just closed yesterday, and so that is the old, is that a Pangborn house too?
Which one?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
the-
one on the corner, Eddie's old
No,
house.
yeah, but the Pangborns lived there, but it was built by the Bryants.
Okay, is
It
that
was-
what's on the plaque?
Yeah,
The Bryants, okay.
Yeah, Bryant.
So
Um,
someone needs to go over and talk with them, the new owners,
Yeah.
so that, because their agent from Jacksonville did call
You mean
me.
I hadn't done that yet?
They haven't moved in.
She's right
It
there.
closed yesterday.
Yeah.
But the agent called me asking specifically, and she was directed to me, I probably called City Hall, and then they called me, and asked me directly if you know, we had a historic district, if they were going to be restricted to colors and things like that. So clearly in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I addressed those questions, and just stayed in my Heritage Commission lane. I do not think she knows I'm a real estate agent also. I just stayed in my lane, right? But I think with that being said, that means they might want to change the color. And it would be great if they painted it, but it would be also better if it wasn't, you know, pink or purple.
There again, we have our color palette, our historical color.
And we
palette.
can
That historical palette
suggest-
was- You could suggest that this is the historical palette, but.
We don't have
because
any teeth.
You don't have any.
No, it would just be a suggestion, and we don't want any teeth, we decided that a long time ago.
Right.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough. I agree with you.
We
But
don't, we want to
have that-
suggest.
That color palette that you mentioned, I did go to Ace and ask them for a copy of what colors I think you guys were using when you had the grant. And so that is in Bo Wright's office. So, if
I think
if
I
they're
brought
interested, you could
many
just tell them the
samples from
history.
there too.
Yeah, you could just tell them the history of what you guys were doing when you had the grant. These are some of the historical colors.
Well, you've
that
got
you
your
possibly
book,
have.
you got like this whole big folder on the.
Right, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
I think it's something that
Right.
somebody needs to go over there and just mention it to them after they've been settled in for a couple months and just say, hi, introduce ourselves and let them know that we do have a Heritage Commission, that they have a historic home, and that while they can change anything they want, we would like it if they would stay within this color palette or at least come to us with suggestions if they, you know, want
I
something.
think you would get, but
I
yeah.
know them personally.
Or even look at photos.
I know them personally.
Oh, see,
The people
There you
that are
go.
purchasing
Yeah.
it? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, is it not, were you their agent? Because there was an agent
No,
in Jacksonville.
no,
Okay.
Melissa sold it to them.
Well, it was Melissa's listing.
Yeah, but she sold it to them too.
I don't know what happened to the lady in Jacksonville. Okay.
well, good, there's our envoy.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you know them,
Yeah,
then
they
yeah.
used to live here. When they lived
Okay.
there on Forest Street.
Okay,
before, and then they went to South Florida, and now they've come back.
okay,
He's
perfect.
on staff with Trinity.
Okay,
It's Aaron and Stephanie Snyder.
okay,
Oh, yes, I know them too.
All right.
okay, great.
Good people.
Okay, well, it all happened in the same day.
So what else you got on your list?
I already talked about McCray. And then there was a, lady that I met, Rebecca Duvall. Her great-grandfather was Leona Allison Rupert, and her great-grandmother was Mildred Irene Rupert. Now, this was her great-grandmother, and she's probably in her 70s, so this was a long time ago. Her grandmother was Mildred Irene Rupert Bliss, and her grandfather was Homer Austin Bliss. And they owned the little properties, those little cabins,
White Feather Court.
White Feather Court, that's on Magnolia. She asked me if I would do a little research, and I went to Green Cove and met with Vichy, and it's going to take a lot more digging and a lot more time than I had at that day that I was there. So I called her back up and I told her that I was working on it, but just so that we, make note that there are people that ask us to do some research for them on different properties, and that we're more than happy to do that. It's just that it does take hours of research. It's not, a few minutes, you just go in and pull a file. So,
The Ruperts also had property on Holly.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
wow.
got some building permits for
Oh, they
that.
would love to know.
Another White Feather Court,
So-
the original owners, we knew their Whitehead and Russia.
What was that, Miss Bennett?
I said, the people that originally owned the White Feather Court,
Uh-huh.
one of them was Whitehead and one was Rusher, the last names.
Okay.
They're the ones that came down from Pennsylvania, I think, or somewhere, and built those.
We double dated one of them. One of their children.
Stories come out.
And my father had a kid named Leslie, and we got in trouble together.
Okay, that was all for me.
Okay, I'll send you those building permits if you want to Holly.
Okay, great.
Anybody else? Got anything? Okay, hey, look at that. We did good. Okay, any public comment? Anybody else? got anything?
No? Yes.
Okay.
Do I need to stand up?
Sure.
Daddy always told me to stand up when you're talking to ladies anyway. One reason we're here is one thing I drove by and saw on the sign, and for some time after the deal at the beach recently, I thought somebody's putting all this stuff together, it just didn't happen. And when I saw that thing up there, I said, well, I'm gonna come sit down and see what happened. I figured there'd be quite a few people here, but it's amazing that y'all are putting this thing together like you are, because it's fragmented as it can be. And I guess one time this city hall burned down and burned up a lot of the old records. So there's no real history here. But I didn't go back there. I could go on and on. I won't. But thank y'all.
Well, thank you for being here
Well,
tonight.
it's a blessing.
It is interesting.
Well, unfortunately, there was one more thing that I needed to talk about, and that is the commemorative posters for
Great.
for Chautauqua. We want to start a series of commemorative posters with the year on it, and because we've already had ours for 2025, we won't be able to offer, we need to get one out there. We're not going to be able to sell it, so what I was thinking was that we would have one done, but just a few, and then those be given out to all the participants. The people that participated in Tales of Keystone, and, you know, and the Heritage Commission, City Council, things like that, they would all be numbered, and that way they would be the only ones with the first one. You would get one too. And so we just need to come up with, you know, someone who's familiar with graphic design.
Ugh, y'all are so sweet. I do know a couple of names of people that might possibly be a little bit more professional than I am.
Well,
I just
someone
use Canva and tweak what they give me. I am not an original artist when it comes to that.
But you could probably go back and do some research on, because they probably did have posters. And look up to see if there was any old posters of
I would
Chautauqua.
be really, truly wonderful if I could find somebody else. I'm slammed. I would love to do it. My
I
heart
have
really-
someone-
my body has no more.
I have someone, I think,
Mr.
Debbie Beals,
Wait, I said
her-
it right, but I can't think of it.
was that her granddaughter who did the painting? I was talking to Debbie Beals the other day, and, tell her about Andy the Whooping Crane, and she says, come here, I'm gonna show you something.
Right, okay, right.
And so she took me to her back room, and her, I think it was her daughter?
Yeah, the John.
So, had just done a painting, and it was of a whooping crane, a beautiful painting of a whooping crane. So, I was hoping Debbie would be, yeah, I know, and she said, look at.
That's wonderful. Whispering Dog Designs.
One more again.
Amy, I've got every name in the book for her. I think it's, I can't think of her last name, but she's the owner and operator of Whispering Dog Designs, and I think she has 3 people total working for her. She's out of Melrose.
Yeah.
She created the design for the Welcome to Melrose sign as you're coming into town, from Waynesville. And she's done many other things, but Whispering Dog Designs is a local
Okay.
publisher.
I was thinking if we could get her permission to use that, and then you would have to do like some Art Deco on it with the keystones.
Right.
And, you know, Chautauqua,
Well,
Well, you could do something like this,
well, this is,
and then just do Keystone Heights. They have a whole
Yeah, but-
bunch, Chautauqua Lane.
yeah, it's all.
Like, I was thinking something more like this, only of our town. You know what I mean? Like, there's some really old, I wanted it to really look
Well,
artsy and old.
whatever it is, they're gonna be a series of posters, so we
Right.
need to pick a category. So that they're all, because people will collect these and frame them, and so they
But
all
they
need to
can
go.
be all different, because look at this, this one's New York, this one says Chautauqua, but these might have been different years.
Well, no, this is all for that place, Chautauqua,
But they all say Chautauqua.
New York.
Right.
They're for Chautauqua, New York.
Right, but they're all
Yeah,
different.
but that's because that's the town. We need something for the event, Chautauqua.
I think that if you told your vision to
Yeah.
someone who is a graphic designer, saying that you want it to be a deco kind of situation and you want to have these certain things, they can put it together with you for you much faster and much more professional.
It would just have to be something, I mean, I don't think it would take much with someone who is acquainted with that kind of
Right,
thing.
and they could easily do this year's and possibly next year's, kind of like in the same bucket, so that way you already have something where you have what you have this year.
But it's Chautauqua Keystones. We
Right.
have Keystone pictures, and not necessarily, you know, just like the old inn or the pavilion. It could just be things in Keystone, you know.
Well, that's something that I think we've got so much. It is, it will be our 100, that's one reason why we have to do it this year. This is our 100, and it's the first Chautauqua. So, and that, I propose we work on this during these slow months, get these out, in the summer.
Right.
And like I said, we would call them thank you gifts. And
It's really just sitting down with, like you said, graphic artists and telling them your ideas, and as you discuss it, they're thinking in their head already.
Okay.
Nick,
So that's why they're good at
extra
what
one
they do.
for auctioning off maybe for the gala.
Yeah, that would be great.
Speaking of things that have been created,
Mayor's ball.
so this is the banner that will be going up shortly, if it's not already up.
Oh, we
Because I
like
have been
that.
outside.
Oh, that's awesome.
We went off of what Green Cove did, changed it to be, you know,
And the
our
colors, I
colors.
like that.
And then, so this is what we have, of course, it's double sided, and they'll be up all year long. 5 of them will come down during different seasonal things like 4th of July, Christmas, and they'll have the seasonal banners.
Those are
they'll
great.
all
I love
change.
that.
So, that worked out well.
And we can have one of those
This one is
for
the-
our museum.
Yes, so this is the extra one, and I figure that the Friends of Keystone might wanna auction them off as, you
Oh.
know, as fun, you know, another fundraiser
Right.
for near the end of the year, cause they're.
That would be
they-
perfect.
For the mayor's ball.
This,
Yes, for the mayor's ball.
so I missed the last meeting, so I'm behind time, sorry.
Yes.
You speak of things I don't know, but I think it's awesome. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys, and I really mean this. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to help you guys do the first pop-up museum. And it was wonderful to hear everything that y'all guys put together, and the fact that it was put together in such a very short period of time. I want you to be encouraged that it could be so much better. And I think that you guys can continue to build more volunteers, and you're building community with these events, and I'm really proud of each and every one of you, and I think that you needed to hear that, because I'm really proud of you guys, y'all did great.
Thank you. And we would also like to thank you because you are instrumental in making a lot of this happen. It's kind of like, hey Drew, can you go over a link and open that up? Can you go over here and do this? You know, so there's a lot of that, and we appreciate you.
I really liked it though, y'all are great.
So I'll get in touch with, Whispering Dog Design and see if I can't, speak to somebody there who can put together a presentation, some options for us.
Yeah, that would be great.
And-
Maybe they can come and meet there.
Well, that's what I'm saying, in one of our slow meetings, we've got some slow meetings coming up, we're moving into the summer and try to finalize that during the meetings coming up. After the field trip. Okay? Okay, anybody else? Yes, Mr. Bennett?
One more time. The, one of the names we gave, the furthest unit was Blair.
White Feather
Ed
Court.
Blair. White Feather Court.
Blair.
And the other one was Russia.
Blair, instead of one of those, and Rusher. Blair and Rusher.
Blair and Rusher.
And Annie used to live there with Ted
Ed
Annie Blair.
Blair, yeah, Ed Blair, and Art Rusher.
Art Rusher.
Arthur Rusher. Yeah.
What do you